Welcome guys, thank you very much for clicking on another video. I am Rider Pride 639, a very fresh look Rider Pride 639 as well. As you can see, I got a new haircut, got a fresh shave. We're looking good, we're feeling good, and we're ready to get into another video here. But before we get started, I just want to remind you guys that you need to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you guys leave a comment down below because we have a real banger for you today. It finally happened, guys. For those of you who have been following me over on Twitch, know that I've had some pretty good runs of bad luck when it comes to Warzone solos, but it finally happened. I finally pulled off a rather epic win, so you guys are definitely going to want to watch this one here. I'm going to give you guys my breakdown and my thought process on what I did to achieve this victory, so make sure you guys watched all the way to the very end because it does get pretty crazy. But if you guys like what I do around here, if you want to see more of this kind of gameplay, make sure that you guys follow me over on Twitch. You guys are also welcome to join my Discord community. You can also follow me all over on Twitter as well as Instagram, Facebook, and of course, making sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on notifications because that'll let you know exactly when I post a video. All of those links to all of my social media outlets as well as my Discord channel, you'll find all those right down below. So head on down there, find the links that you want, and go follow me over on all my social media to figure out what's going on in my life and what's going on with the streaming and the video creation community. But in any case, we're going to go ahead, we're going to get into this gameplay, and like I said, we're going to give you a step-by-step breakdown of what we did. This particular gameplay takes place in the nighttime solo. So this is the Battle Royale Solo Survivor Nighttime Verdansk mode. So everything's going to be dark, everything's going to be quiet, with a couple of exceptions, but like I said, that gameplay at the end is going to be the part that you're definitely going to want to watch here. So let's go ahead and get over to this particular screen, and we'll go ahead and we'll get into the gameplay. All right, here we go. So, dropping into Nighttime Verdansk. If you guys want as well, at the very end of the video, I will be showing you guys what I use for my loadout in this particular game mode. So, no worries about that. Go ahead and turn that up a little bit.
Gas is approaching your position. Move to the safe zone.
Alright, so based on what I saw, this is probably one of my favorite spots to land. I learned this particular spot from another YouTuber and streamer called I Am Expel. Make sure you guys go check out his content. He's got some amazing content. So this is exactly where we're going to be dropping off here. So into the SOS and what we like to call version towers. I've also heard some people call it block as well. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to drop down to the bottom. Normally I like to drop at the top. But I know that I was a little bit short, and I figured, okay, you know what? If there's going to be other people here, I definitely want to make sure that I get in there and get looted up. I was trying to flip the scope down to the hollow side on that. I was having a little bit of difficulty, but here we've got ourselves a Striker 45 from loot, as well as a green Kilo 141 assault rifle from ground loot as well. So that's kind of gonna be our first little bit of the gameplay, is kind of going around looting, getting some decent weapons, getting some equipment, and more importantly getting some cash, because this particular spot here, we're lucky enough that this time it spawned with a buy station right nearby. So I'm just checking rooftops to see if anybody else had landed over here. But there is a buy station over here as well. So once I can get to my $10,000 amount that I need, I can go ahead and get right to my loadout, and that way I can start doming some fools. So yes, I do close the doors behind me on outsides of buildings, just in case if somebody does want to kind of go in and kind of scout the area inside here. If I'm nearby, I can usually hear them slamming through the doors or opening doors if they're not doing it quietly.
Enemy team is tracking your position.
So as you can see, I'm already being tracked. So I'm going to go ahead and get myself into a better position. As you saw on what I did on the map there, so I noticed that I was tracked on a bounty. And I remembered that there was a bounty contract over by the police station bank area behind the SOS buildings. So I took a look at the map and I noticed that bounty was no longer there. So I know now that my enemy is likely going to be coming from that position there. Yeah, this one here, I was a little indecisive on what I wanted to do, but I figured out, okay, you know what? If I'm going to be up here, I'm going to try holding position for a little while. And seeing if they're gonna be pushy. So I figured, okay, I've got this trophy system. I'm gonna plop it right by the door in case they want to get freaky and start throwing, you know, open up the door and start chucking grenades to see if they can get me. So here I start scanning all of the rooftops. I know there's a bunch of fighting out to my right, closer towards the grain silos out by the runways. So I noticed the one guy out there. I'm pretty sure that he was actually my bounty. So there's one door open up on top of SOS there, so I'm making a mental note of that to check to see if anybody comes around. The other guy, I'm looking around to see if he pushes around from anywhere, maybe possibly sees if he can try and get a snipe from the top of those apartment buildings there. But ultimately, I'm looking around and I notice that there's a car on the map coming. And I noticed a guy run into that green building right there, so... I know for sure that he's not my bounty because my threat meter didn't go up. Usually at that range there, he's going to be probably a 2 threat, maybe even a 3 threat if it's close enough. So I heard him drop something. Usually that sound means that they usually call in a loadout drop, so I'm looking to see where the box is so I know where to aim. And here I noticed that he's actually using a contraband contract instead. So the helicopter's coming down and I notice he's coming in. And I shoot him, and I don't know what he was doing there, but all of a sudden he just stopped dead in his tracks, and it's an easy kill. So what he's doing there, I'm not too sure. Based on that, I don't push down for his loot right away because that helicopter is making a lot of noise, which means it could attract other players. So I'm holding my position on that rooftop to see if anybody else kind of peeks their head out to see what's going on, and maybe I can try and snag, an extra kill or two off of those guys if they're getting brave. So there I waited long enough for the contract to go away. He was still 1 threat, so I know he's nowhere near me. So I have a feeling he just grabbed the contract for something to do. Decided that he didn't have the position that he wanted, and that was gonna be it. So I swap out my gun for this one. I kind of like the Bison better than the Striker 45 in terms of ground loot. That's just my own personal preference. You can do whatever. It is just ground loot. I am going to be replacing it here right away anyways. As you can see, I've got $14,000. So that's a very, very easy loadout drop marker purchase to make there. So now, another thing you'll also notice is that I throw this inside the building. And the reason why I do this is that this box is going to land on top of the roof. And the red smoke is not going to be visible by anybody who hears that popping noise that you heard earlier. So here I'm going to go grab my Grau setup. So it is a Grau with a thermal optics scope because it is nighttime. Some players run cold-blooded. A lot of players actually don't. So I still find this gun to be a little advantageous. I did change the reticle on it to have that little crosshair in the middle. I find that the sight picture is just a little bit cleaner on this particular reticle on this scope. This is the Solo Zero NVG enhanced optics. So it's a 3.25 enhanced scout optic. And then, yeah, like I said, and it's got thermal as well. So next thing you notice me do is you notice that I marked a bounty contract. I picked up my armor box. And then I turn off the music because I didn't want it in there. So rather than camping the top of the SOS buildings or Virgin Towers, I figure, you know what, I'm going to play slightly more aggressively. I'm going to go ahead and start moving to another area, grab some bounty contracts, see if I can't get a few more kills. We've only got the one so far. I'm actually kind of surprised that nobody... Yeah, so I accidentally flipped the car. I got out just in case it was going to explode on me. It starts rolling downhill. I go ahead and just start looting up a little bit more. Found a gas mask, which is cool. And I start scanning rooftops, listening for any audio cues. I noticed that there's a car going around the map there that I knew he couldn't see me. He's been busy driving. He's going through the tunnels, so I don't have to worry about him. Of course, to make sure I check my heartbeat sensor. It is still fairly early game, so the likelihood of people having Ghost, if they were in this area, is still pretty small. So that's why I did the scan there, just making sure that if there are any enemies that aren't ghosted nearby, that I can get a ping on them and make sure that I can get a lead on them. All right, so we got our bounty contract. We're moving around. We're still grabbing some loot, grabbing some cash. Lots of cash to be had here. So really, really, really good. I'm still scanning the rooftops, looking for movement. So we're playing over on the hospital side here. So I'm just checking this here to see if anybody might be sitting on the rooftop. Doesn't look like it. I was going to go up to that roof, but I decided to change my mind a little bit because of the bounty. I heard a noise over here. I still don't know what happened because it sounded like a loadout drop was grabbed. So that's why I immediately pulled my short range gun out, which is the R90 with Dragon's Breath rounds. So this guy, I think somebody just died here and they left all of his stuff. So he had a UAV on him, which was perfect because now I've got 2 pings on my radar here, and I noticed that there's another helicopter coming in, another contraband contract that somebody started. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly grab that cash, and I'm going to see if I can get a good lead on this guy, wherever he is, and he immediately dies. He gets poached. So this guy's pushing in. I notice him here. Now he's running cold-blooded, and I kind of waffled my shot. My hand kind of shook a little bit. So now I notice he's in there. And fairly easy kill. I almost kind of lost that one. I was literally 1 bullet. If anybody else was around at all, that would have killed me right there. So I'm not bothering picking up the contraband contract. All of the current contraband contracts that have blueprints attached to them, I've already collected them all. So I don't need to get the contraband contracts. That being said, if you are in a pinch for money and there's no other contracts around, contraband contracts are extremely beneficial for getting a lot of cash. So there's another bounty right here. I'm going to go ahead and grab that. And I'm going to head right back over to this buy station over here. I notice that there's another pile of cash just sitting there. $20,000. I got all kinds of stuff. And then immediately I notice on the map that there's a car coming, and he gets out. So I immediately duck into cover, catch a quick reload, and then I start scanning to see if he pops out anywhere. Now, he did get out on the map right by my free loadout drop. So I didn't know if he was going to park there. Maybe he's got his loadout drop sitting over there, and then wanted to come over to the buy station, hopefully to try and buy something, but I didn't see him. He doesn't show up on UAV, so unfortunately he's probably picked up his ghost class. So I'm going to go ahead and start rotating around and try and get higher grounds to see if I can find him. And the reason why I do this is because I want to see if I can try and get the advantage on him and try and get another free kill. So high ground in this game is extremely key. It is very, very, very important. It gives you such an immense advantage. And unfortunately, yeah, when I hopped to the edge, I was just kind of hoping just to stand up on the edge, but unfortunately it just mantled me all the way over, so I had to pull my chute, which I really, really, really didn't want to happen. So now I've kind of put myself in a slightly more disadvantageous position because if the enemy is nearby, he probably could have heard me pull my chute. I double checked my heartbeat sensor, even though I know he's ghosted, just in case anybody else was nearby. But nothing shows up there. So I scanned the inside of the building to see if he was coming around. I'm standing around a little bit. I'm listening for audio cues to see if I can hear him. I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. And I noticed that my bounty at this stage, my bounty kind of more or less just took off. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my ghost class, which I labeled as nighttime loadout. Now immediately I get shot in the back, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not even going to fight that. We're just going to back it all the way up here. He's probably up there somewhere. I don't have time to sit there and try and figure out where he is. So you know what? I'm in a disadvantageous position, so you know what? I'm just going to grab my car and I'm going to jet right out. Unfortunately, I don't have a trophy system on the car, so I am a little bit more vulnerable in this position. Usually, if I had the opportunity, I would find a trophy system, place it on the car, so that way if anybody's throwing Semtex or Thermites, or if they're still using C4s, even though the C4s got nerfed, I could do that. So in this case, I noticed, yeah, my bounty's way over on the other side of the map. At this stage, I've kind of more or less just kind of given up on him, especially with only 25 seconds left in it. So I'm going to go ahead and just go look for a spot that I can start taking stock of everything here. So I opt for this particular building on the other side of SOS, just outside of Superstore. So we got Superstore to our right, the gas station to our right as well. So rather than busting through doors, I just go in normally, right through the window. Those windows don't have glass panes on them, so you're not going to make any noise busting through those. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take the stairs. I'm going to get to the roof, just double check to make sure I've got full ammo, even though I don't use SMG ammo. Catch a quick reload. I do run sleight of hand on that R90 because it does run a 14-round mag, and without sleight of hand, the reload speed on that gun is incredibly slow. And you can end up getting yourself in a really, really bad spot if you find yourself out of ammo. Now, for some reason, I slid forward and I somehow nicked the door and slammed it open. It's whatever. So immediately, once I get to the top of the roof here, I start scanning around. Okay, so I know there's a guy behind me over at Virgin Towers, but he's a little bit too far to try and engage that fight with, so I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to start scanning around different rooftops, see if I can catch movement, see if I can catch any bullet tracers that'll tell me where there's gunfights happening. Nothing really nearby, so I'm going to start taking a look around here and figuring out what I want to do next. So I do see a bounty contract over at Pool, just outside of Storage Town. So I start looking at the fire hall, because a lot of people, especially in this mode, really, really like to camp. And I say that because I'm going to end up doing the same thing here in just a little bit. So, like I said, I'm taking stock of what's going on. As soon as I jump, I notice that there is an ATV coming around, so I find a spot where I can get behind cover, and I start engaging this guy. I already hit him twice, and pretty easy kill there. He wasn't expecting me to shoot at him. I was expecting him just to keep driving, but you know, he got off because he wanted to try and engage the fight, and I took him out pretty easily there with the R9. I immediately hear a parachute coming, and I see this guy's going for his loadout. He's going to be at a severe disadvantage, and there's just no chance for him, so finish him off with the R9 as well. This gun is so good, so amazingly broken too. So now that I got those two free kills, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push up to this bounty where I come across a weird realization. So there's only 16 players left. So immediately I grab the contract and I notice, it takes me a moment to notice, but I noticed that my bounty didn't appear on the screen. I didn't notice the text appearing at the bottom saying that bounty contracts aren't eligible anymore, you get cash compensation instead. So I kind of look around and go, okay, wait a minute, did my bounty not work? Like, did it glitch out? I'm gonna go grab another bounty just in case. But I'm gonna take a quick look, you know, check both my sides as I'm pushing out to the open. Take a quick check on the heartbeat. Stick to a wall where I can. Stick to cover where I can. Like I said, checking sides, and then this is where I look, and I said contract is unavailable. Constellation loot awarded, so I know that I can no longer take any. I can't take any bounty contracts anymore. So the bounties are no longer eligible for the remainder of the game. I pop my UAV to see what's going on. I notice, okay, I got one tick in Storage Town and one tick just on the opposite side towards kind of halfway between Boneyard and train station there. So I marked the buy station because I know there's an enemy over on that side there. I immediately start going around to pick up these boxes just to grab a little bit more cash and to also actually reduce the sound in the area. So I start scanning over for this guy here. I can't see him anywhere. I don't really want to push into that fight because right now I'm in a really, really advantageous position, so I go to check the other side. Yeah, this part here it's still a little weird sometimes. I try not to stand on these things for too long, just because I don't want to be standing out in the open like that where I can easily get sniped. So I change my position very, very frequently when I'm on this rooftop here, just so I can take stock of what's in the area. See if I can see anything that will help me get into some good gunfights. Now, as I said before, a lot of players get campy in this particular night mode. I end up actually doing a little bit of camping here. Normally, a lot of players that I know, like if you take a look at players like Huskers, Symphony, Nick Merckx, I am Expel, Iceman Isaac. There's a few more. There's probably like 5 or 6 more names that I could very easily add to that list. Where they do play a lot more aggressively. They are constantly looking for kills. They are constantly moving around from place to place to place to place. You rarely ever see them sit in one spot for too long. In this particular case here, because I know the bounty contracts aren't eligible anymore, it kind of puts me in a weird spot where I kind of lose my train of thought of what my original battle plan was, trying to get a little bit more aggressive. Since the bounty contracts don't work and it doesn't mark any targets on the screen anymore, I'm kind of at a loss as to what to do. But I figure, okay, you know what? I've got a really good position here. I hear another pop, which is fairly close by, and I'm looking around to see if anybody calls in the loadout drop. But for the third time in this game, I noticed somebody calls in a contraband contract, which is pretty wild. I have never seen this many contraband contracts get called in a game that I'm nearby ever. So contraband contract, somebody starts it, so I immediately start looking for him. I see him jump off the roof and just immediately Shrek the guy. Doesn't stand a chance. I'm not going to push for his loot because, again, because it's out in the open, it's very easily for somebody else to also pay attention to that. And they could also be looking downfield from any one of the positions on the outside, where if I push in, I'm now wide out in the open, completely defenseless, and I'm a very easy kill. So I don't push for the loot there in that spot. I immediately kind of push back, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to take the roof again. I figure, okay, you know what? I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to play a little bit more cautious, a little bit more conservatively, and not as aggressive as my initial battle plan was going into this game. So again, I start scanning around. I start looking for heat signatures. I start looking for anybody running around that doesn't notice that I'm up here. I'm looking for bullet tracers to see if there's any fights, and I'm not hearing anything. So the thing that I'm taking away from this is that a lot of the other players, the 11 other players that are still in the game right now, are all playing the same way. That everyone's playing very tight, very cautious. They're not engaging in fights that they don't need to, and that's kind of pretty much what I put myself into in this particular stage as well. I make sure that I'm not putting myself into a disadvantageous position. I'm not just pushing every gunfight needlessly, unless I have the advantage for it. So that particular fight there, you saw that I had the advantage. I noticed that there was some gunfights over here, so I start taking a look around to see if I can figure out where people are. Maybe somebody's trying to get on the rooftops on those in Storage Town to try and get the advantage, where I can sneak some shots in and maybe try and steal a kill. So I don't see anything there. I start taking a look around again, just to make sure that, again, because I know there's a fight there, I'm looking around the surrounding area to see if anybody else notices, and if anybody else notices, they're usually going to push in. Like this guy here, he's going to try and get a better position. So I catch him completely unawares, and super easy kill.
Gas is inbound. Marking new safe zone.
So we notice that the gulag is closed now, so if we die here, that's it, GG's. We don't get our ghoulies to make a play back here. So again, I'm just scanning kind of the area. So I notice my loadout drops coming way out over there in Storage Town. I notice one kind of drops right nearby, and that one ends up actually being kind of important. And you'll see here in just a second. So I start crawl. I immediately go prone because I want to kind of take a quick scan of what's going on. I notice that there's really no contracts. The only one that there is a recon. Not really something I want to do with only 9 players left in the lobby, because that gives away my position. So I immediately notice that this guy's running over here to his loadout. So I start putting shots into him. He's completely unaware. He doesn't know where I'm shooting from. So he starts running. He's cracked. He's wide out in the open, and easy kill again. So, like I said, yes, I may be camping a fair bit here, but like I said, I'm putting myself in an advantageous position where I'm not pushing needless gunfights. I notice that there's a guy over here. I start shooting without realizing that he was actually fighting somebody else. So where that second guy is, I don't know. So immediately what I do is I start rotating around that fight. I don't want to accidentally get myself pinched in between 2 people, especially when I know that both players are alive. I don't know if he killed the guy. I certainly didn't kill the guy I was shooting at, so I don't want to put myself in a bad spot there either. So I don't start running because I don't want to make too much noise, because I know there's a guy that's going to be rotating into this section of Storage Town, the guy that I shot. So I notice that there's a gunfight going on to my left. I immediately take stock there, and I end up actually taking the shadows here. You know, minus the fact that I'm wearing a really, really bright watch. But I noticed that this zone is pulling and pushing in, which means there's probably going to be a guy running around this section here. And my guess was perfect. There he is right there. Get an absolute free kill on him. He has no idea that I'm there. I hesitate for a second. Okay, what should I do? Okay, I'm going to go quickly grab his stuff. I've got a gas mask, so I'm going to go ahead and grab his stuff and get out. So that way I catch, you know, quickly grab his ammo to make sure I'm topped up. There's only 4 other targets left aside from me, so immediately I start taking the pinwheel rotation. You'll see this this name a lot when it comes to players like Iceman Isaac. Now, this is where things get a little crazy, and you're going to see here in just a second. So I start looking downfield, and just off to my right is where things get fucking scary. This guy has the grenade launcher. So he ends up, he tries to reload it before figuring out where I am, and gets absolutely destroyed while he was in the middle of reloading that grenade launcher. So that was super, super scary. That one I almost didn't get out of, because if any one of those grenades direct impacts me, that pretty much makes me 1 bullet. There's only going to be, like, any area of effect explosion would have killed me. Or at least would have downed me, but he, like I said, he could have easily switched to a secondary and then come and finish me off. So the one thing I start doing here is that I know that there's still players going to be on my left, and I start seeing bullet tracers. I'm like, okay, I know there's a fight going on over there. I'm going to go ahead and rotate around this way here. So there's at least 2 players to my left, which means there's 1 other player unaccounted for. So I'm going to rotate to this building here and see if I can try and get the high ground. Now, unfortunately, I don't recall the trick to actually get up here. So I tried jumping there. I'm like, okay, no, that's not going to work. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to quickly hop inside. There's a buy station right here. I've got 16 grand. So I'm going to grab a gas mask, and I'm going to grab a cluster strike instead of a UAV. I figure at this stage, things are going to be, they're not going to show up on UAVs anyways. Now, immediately I notice there's a guy right here. Now, you'll notice I've noticed something to my left. There's a flash grenade. I figure, okay, you know what? Heartbeat sensor is going to be useless. I'm going to make a huge, huge IQ play here, and I'm going to grab that flash grenade, flash him so he can't see me. I can immediately get the best position on him, and that takes care of the player that wasn't accounted for. So now I know for sure there's 2 players off to my left, because those 2 were fighting. So I'm going to take the far rotation. I'm just going to rotate the edge. I see the bullet tracer, so I know they're fighting ahead of me. So now it's just a matter, okay, I need to figure out where these guys are. Couldn't get the ammo there. Okay, so now, here I notice there's 1 guy over there. I don't start engaging him right away, because I know that he's still fighting another player with the way that he's looking. So, I need to figure out where that second player is before I start engaging. He starts engaging that player right away, and he's jumping around the back here. So I quickly duck. He's trying to take cover to heal up, and I get a free kill on him. So now I know where this guy is. And immediately I start putting shots on him. He hits me for a little bit. I immediately take cover, armor up. But this is where another IQ play comes in. I've got a cluster strike. He's out in the open. So he puts up a couple shots on me. I drop the cluster strike. This gives me a perfect opportunity to heal up, to reload, because now he has to move. And he's got no other choice, and that puts him right out in the open. Easy kill right there. Holy fucking shit, I finally did it. And yeah, you can see my elation in my voice. I totally forgot that I didn't have my mic muted. I thought I had my mic muted there, so it wasn't until actually I looked back at the video and started trimming some stuff that I noticed that my mic was on the entire time. Alright, so here is the loadout that I used. So the Grau, I used the Ufaga, which is a blueprint that you can get, and the Hellfire, which is just a custom mod that I made. So the perks there you see, I've got Cold-Blooded, Overkill, and Amped for my first class. And then I have a Cold-Blooded Ghost and Amp for the second class. So the secondary weapon that I have on that one there is just, yes, yeah, I am a bit of a Star Wars fan. I also am a bit of a dad jokester, so yes, I named the Renetti, the Kylo Renetti. So here is what we got here. So this is what's on the ground. So we got the Monolithic Suppressor, the Tempest 26.4 Archangel Barrel, the Commando 4 Grip 60-round mags, and like I said, this Solo Zero NVG enhanced optics. The Monolithic Suppressor, obviously for sound suppression, but it also increases your bullet velocity. The Tempest 26.4 Archangel Barrel gives you some additional recoil control, as well as your damage range and bullet velocity. And then we take a look over here at the R90 shotgun. So we are running the choke and the forged tack sentry. Both of these tighten your pellet spread and increase the damage range. The Ranger foregrip just helps with the recoil control. And then, obviously, like I said, we have the Dragon's Breath rounds for the additional fire damage, and the Sleight of Hand for the faster reload speed. So yeah, like I said, this gun is incredibly powerful, especially at close range. If we go back to the nighttime loadout now, and what you'll notice different is that I took the 60 round mag out in favor of fully loaded. The reason why I did this as my second loadout is that when I pick up this gun, this is going to immediately fill my ammo reserves for my assault rifle. So if I run out of ammo and I go to pick up this loadout, it immediately refills my ammo. I don't have to drop an ammunitions box. I don't have to drop extra ammo or go looting for ammo or things like that. But yeah, like I said, on the second loadout there, that's where we grab all of our perks. So let's go ahead and switch back to our full screen here. All right, perfect. So that's exactly how it goes. So, and just as you know, for your tacticals and lethals, I do use thermites. Although you didn't actually see me use a single thermite that entire game. The thermites are incredibly useful. They're very, very quick to throw. Really, really useful against riot shielders as well, especially if you stick them direct. They do start taking immediate damage through the shield. So that puts them in a really, really bad spot. And then I use the heartbeat sensor, as you saw, to try and look for enemies. So that is going to do it for me, guys. Thank you all very, very much for watching this video. Like I said, huge favor. Make sure that you do drop a like on the video. Make sure that you do subscribe to the channel as well. And leave a comment down below. Tell me what you thought of this particular strategy. I know, like I said, it's not quite as aggressive as a lot of other players like the Huskers and the Expels and the Nick Mercs and the Symphonies of the Warzone world, who can very, very easily drop 20 plus without even so much as blinking an eye. We did have to play a little bit more conservatively at the end. That's just the way it had to be, but ultimately it turned out to be the winning strategy because, like I said, it made sure that I was in an advantageous position the entire time. So if you guys want to know more, if you guys want to see more, do make sure that you also follow me over on Twitter at RiderPride639. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. As well as my Twitch channel. Make sure you head over to www.twitch.tv/RiderPride639. I do stream 3 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, that's Saskatchewan time, and Saturdays from 11 a.m. To 5 p.m. You guys are also more than welcome to join my Discord community. All these links to all of my social media and my Discord, you're going to find them right down below in the video description. So make sure you guys check that out. And yeah, this is really, really good. So this is our third video. I'm having a lot of fun with this. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos as well. And hopefully we'll see you guys in the stream. Hopefully we'll see you guys in the Warzone, and hopefully we'll see you guys on the subs in the next video. So that's going to do it for me, guys. And until next time, take care.